But, then suddenly his powers go out of control. Everyone panics as he tries to retract the shadow spikes, but luckily Saren steps up to help him calm down. Thanks to his guidance, Akira manages to regain control of his power, deactivating his shadow magic. He feels lucky that he is still alive, and Saren tells him that he really exceeded his expectations today. Once they return from the dungeon, Saren thanks for saving everyone's life, but he doesn't feel that he deserves all the credit. He says that without Saren there to back him up, he couldn't have defeated the Minotaur, especially because he hadn't been able to cast shadow magic properly in training. Saren remarks that it is the first time he has heard about an extra skill called shadow magic, and he agrees that Akira can barely control the spell right now. He warns him to be careful about using it the next time and then decides to give him a samurai sword that the first hero forged himself. Akira takes the sword and asks Saren why doesn't he give it to the current hero instead of him, and the commander replies that Sato already has the holy sword. However, the bigger reason is that Saren stole the sword from the royal treasury, and giving it to the stupid hero will get him arrested in no time. Akira gladly accepts the sword and then finds that there are some inscriptions near the hilt. The first one reads Yato no Kami, and in the next inscription, the first hero wishes that his sword may guide his successor in times of trouble. Akira says that he would have liked to meet the first hero. Talking about the hero, Akira remembers the curse that was cast on Sato and how they couldn't break it no matter how many times the enchanter tried. He feels something fishy is going on, and Saren has a theory about it. The person behind the curse is actually the princess who is trying to turn Sato into her puppet using a dark magic ritual. However, Akira arrives there right on time and destroys the magic crystal she was using to perform the ritual. The princess gets mad and asks how dare he enter a woman's bedroom without her permission, and Akira simply points his sword at her, saying that a witch who curses other people is not a woman. He asks her why the hell is she doing this, and the princess replies that it is all for the sake of the king. Akira asks her why is she obeying the king, and the princess repeats the previous statement with eyes that seem devoid of life and reason. Akira realizes this too and leaves the room, but the princess has more magic crystals that she plans to use to curse the rest of the students. Meanwhile, Akira takes the crystal to Saren's place and tells him that he was right about the princess cursing Sato. Seems like it is not a new thing because Saren remarks that she has not yet given up on her evil acts. He asks Akira if he showed his face to the princess, and he affirms, saying that he wanted to have a proper conversation with her, but she was not very good with her words. Saren replies that the princess is no more than a puppet for the king right now, and then tells Akira to not sleep inside the palace tonight. Akira is curious about the reason, and Saren explains that the princess can curse anyone, but not him since he never revealed his status to her. That means she will try to get him killed instead, and Saren wants him to stay away from the palace. Akira asks if he is not going to scold him for carelessly showing his face, and the commander replies that teenagers are supposed to be impulsive and reckless, and it is the duty of adults like him to cover it up. The next morning, Akira wakes up to a commotion coming from the palace, and once he reaches there he finds a huge crowd gathered. He notices that Sato was freed from the curse and asks what is going on here. Sato replies that Saren is dead, and Akira can't process that news. He runs through the crowd to see Saren's dead body lying on the floor with a dagger through his heart. Akira is devastated at losing his only friend in this world, but his classmates tell him to stop acting because they believe he is the killer. They point out that the dagger used to kill Saren belongs to him, and Akira reminds them that his dagger shattered in the fight against the Minotaur. However, no one is willing to listen to him, and they accuse him of being shady and untrustworthy ever since they all came here. Akira wonders if they are under the princess's curse, and he is proven right by the way they all blame him. Only Sato comes up to his defense, saying that they need to investigate the matter thoroughly. But the king declares that Akira will be executed for assassinating their beloved commander. He orders his guards to take him down, but Akira uses his skill to hide his presence to search for him all over the palace. Akira goes to Gil, who reveals that the elite assassination unit killed Saren under direct orders from the king. The assassination squad is after him too, but Saren anticipated it and he has prepared travel supplies in his room. Gil tells Akira to take the supplies and flee, and he thanks the vice commander before rushing to Saren's room to grab the items, but forgetting a smaller pouch in a hurry. At night, the king talks about how Saren went down more easily than he thought, and now there is no one who can oppose them. The princess tells him that the brainwashing of all the students except the hero is complete, and now they just need a reason to start a war with their neighboring kingdoms. The king is pleased to hear this, and he tells the princess to dispatch the assassins after Akira to make sure that he doesn't survive long enough to become a threat to them. Meanwhile, Akira is hiding in the dungeon because Saren once told him that it is the best place to avoid people chasing after him, but the only thing it lacks is clean drinking water. The dungeon is also the best place to level up and improve one's skills, but most people don't do it because it is too dangerous. Saren had warned Akira that even his presence concealing skill won't protect him from high-level monsters who have incredibly sharp senses, but if he levels up enough, he will be able to erase his scent and even his body temperature to fool almost anyone. Following his words, Akira begins going deeper into the dungeon, fighting powerful monsters like flamehounds who explode
upon dying.
Akira remembers that Saren once told him about the special skill that everyone receives after reaching level 100 and how it makes them really stronger. Defeating the dungeon bosses is the quickest way to get more experience, but it is also a life or death battle that he cannot run away from once it starts.
Akira is determined to grow strong quickly at all costs, and after defeating the flame hounds, he enters the boss room where a gigantic demon lion is waiting for him.
The lion monster immediately starts attacking him and Akira dodges everything, but he doesn't notice that the monster's tail is a snake that can spit venom as he is caught off guard by the venom. The monster stabs him with its claw. Akira realizes that he is lucky to even be alive right now, but he doesn't plan to give up yet as the lion flings him away. Akira decides to go all out and unleashes his shadow magic. The dark spikes immediately pierce the monster and rip it to pieces, but Akira can't control it for long as he passes out. However, a male voice comes from inside him, saying that the master has taken too much damage, so the shadow magic will be activated forcefully. The shadow quickly moves closer to his body and enters healing mode using the mana stored in his shadow magic to heal his injuries.
Back in the palace, Sato tells his classmates that they should head out to defeat the demon lord now,
but most of them tell him that it is not the right time since the knight commander just died.
Sato insists that they need to start moving now or it will be too late.
But most of the students are under the curse and they tell him it is pointless. Sato declares that he will go alone in that case.
But fortunately, there are some people who are willing to come with him. Sad doesn't understand why they would choose to follow him when they are cursed,
but they are confident that they have gotten over their curse. The enchanter says that she has been able to differentiate between cursed and normal people and she is sure that everyone here is free from the curse. The tall swordsman Asa takes credit for it, saying that he vaguely remembers cutting some strange crystals in an unknown room. He doesn't remember how he got there or how he found a samurai sword, but ever since then, few students were free from the curse.
Turns out it was Gil who made that happen.
His skill suggestion is more powerful than any curse when it comes to making his target do just one simple action. He is glad that he could save at least a few students because that was Saren's last order, and now he can only wish them luck for their journey. Meanwhile, Asahi thinks that they need to team up with Akira as soon as possible because he was the only one who knew the truth when they were all cursed. He remembers the time from the real world when he found Akira working a part-time job at a railway crossing.
Akira asked him to keep it a secret because he didn't want his classmates and little sister to find out about his job, and Asahi had no issue with that. As they started talking about their sisters, they learned that the girls were best friends and that gave them a reason to be on good terms with each other. Back in the dungeon, Akira wakes up dreaming about the incident too, and he wonders if Asa is safe.
He suddenly notices that his body is feeling a lot better than it should and opens his status to find that his stats have gone up and his HP is back to full. Not only that, his shadow magic skill has leveled up even though he used it only once and he can't understand how all that is possible. However, he doesn't have time to think about it and decides to keep going deeper into the dungeon. He soon reaches the 75th floor of the dungeon and a slime monster immediately attacks him. Akira is surprised to see a slime on lower floors and immediately slashes it, and surprisingly a pretty elf falls out of the monster's remains. Akira is confused by it and he decides to use the skill called World Eye that he never got the chance to use before. The moment he uses the skills, he sees a lot of horrifying things that almost make him throw up, but he cancels the skill before it can overload his mind with new information.
Just then, the elf girl Amelia wakes up and Akira asks her if she is alright.
She replies that she is fine, but Akira doesn't trust her because he saw her status earlier and found that her HP had dropped to just 2% earlier. He also knows that Amelia has the World Eye skill too and she has already used it on him. She calls him by his name and asks what this place is, and he tells her that it is a dungeon where he is trying to level up. He then starts lecturing her about how it is not good manners to spy on other people's status, but she suddenly collapses into his arms. Akira finds that she has a fever and he brings her up to the 69th floor to recover. Amelia is startled as she wakes up, but Akira tells her to drink water so that she stays hydrated. He gives her porridge to eat after that and she asks him why did he bring her all the way to the 69th floor from the 75th floor. Akira replies that this was the nearest floor with a water source and then asks her to get some rest. She thanks him for saving her and then reveals that she is a princess, but Akira doesn't really care about that. Soon after that, Amelia fully recovers and joins Akira on his journey as he reaches the 80th floor of the dungeon. She uses her gravity magic to assist him in battle, but he is not really happy with her following him into danger. Amelia tells him that she is going the same way and then confidently declares that she is strong enough to look after herself. Akira has no choice but to take her along now, and soon they enter the boss room where they find a terrifying dragon ready to kill any intruders.